Well, next month, many of you are ready to take off for spring break, and it's shaping up to be one of the busiest travel seasons in recent years. So whether you're traveling domestically or internationally, we're going to help you plan ahead so that you can stay healthy in today's health headline. So joining me now is Dr. Natasha Bouillon, National Medical Director of One Medical. All right, spring break next month, a couple weeks away for a lot of us. So more so internationally, what do people need to do to prepare?
Yes, so the number one thing people should do is check the travel destination and the requirements of where you're going. So the CDC has a really great website. It's packed with information by country, and it can actually start helping you plan your trip now. So if you look at the CDC website, it might tell you things like use precautions when swimming in this area because there's parasites, or use precaution when hiking because of these infections. So looking at the site now can help you plan out your trip in the future.
Because Cancun is going to be different from, let's just say, Panama, or if you go to Italy or what have you.
Yeah, so going to the CDC and looking at every single country, determining what you should be doing. Other important thing is get vaccinated now, because vaccines take about 2 weeks to work. And so if you're traveling in March, it's important to make that appointment now. The CDC is making a blanket recommendation about measles, because all around the world, measles cases are going up. And so they're saying anyone who travels anywhere around the world, get vaccinated against measles if you're not already. Other important one is hepatitis A. So we know hepatitis A can be in food and other contaminated water sources. That's a good vaccine to get. But then the other vaccines that you should get, again, it really depends on your travel destination. You know, some places you might need rabies if you're going to be going caving. Other places you might need the Japanese encephalitis vaccine. You know, other thing I tell people to research now is look into travel insurance. Not everybody needs travel insurance. It really depends on, are there hospitals nearby, clinics nearby?
Where you're going.
Exactly, like what's their cash pay options? So research it now so you know what to do in the future. Other thing I recommend people do is schedule an appointment with your doctor so you can talk through all of this with them.
Yeah, I remember one time when we were going to the Dominican a couple years back. And I was like, you know what, just let me run this by my doctor. Am I up to date on my vaccines? And I was actually missing one. The tuberculosis.
Exactly. So it's good to just get that done right now.
Okay, so what about prescription drugs?
Yes, so the reason to make an appointment with your doctor is also to ask them about prescription medications. And so you should proactively ask. It depends on where you're going and what you're doing. But for example, if you're going on a cruise, it's great to have medications against motion sickness. Those patches work really well behind the ears. They work better than the pills. If you're going on a flight, on the other hand, and it's a long flight, jet lag is a huge issue. And so people like to take sleep medications like Ambien or other medications. Other thing people should be aware of is traveler's diarrhea. So a lot of places you go, it's pretty easy to get infected with E. coli. It's nice to just have a prescription for some antibiotics on hand. Other thing to be aware of is malaria. Depending on where you go, malaria prophylaxis medications start a few days before your trip, and you take it the entire duration of your trip if malaria is high in your travel destination. And then the other advice I give people is, what are you prone to? So if you're prone to sinus infections or UTIs, let your doctor know. They can give you a pocket prescription. That way you're not stranded in another country.
Looking for a medication,
for something that's so simple that you know how to treat on your own. So just having those on hand makes a big difference.
So true. And like for kids, like my little guy, he gets motion sickness very easily, even on a car ride. So that's something to like
think about.
Remember to pack that.
Planning and prepping now.
Any other essentials that we should pack?
So for over-the-counter medications, people often think of pain meds and fever meds. Like people know about Tylenol, ibuprofen. But I always forget about creams. So making sure you have an anti-itch cream, a steroid cream, in case you get a bug bite, in case you get a rash. Having
Benadryl.
Exactly. Compression stockings are another travel essential. So when you travel on flights, having compression stockings, it can help reduce your risk of getting a blood clot, but also helps with things like swelling. And then if you're going to other countries, water purification tablets are great to have on hand, especially if you're backpacking or going on hikes. It can help purify water. And then the thing I tell people not to overlook is insect repellent. I think people forget about that, but again, it helps against malaria. And even right now, we've talked about sloth fever before. Sloth fever is increasing in different parts of the world, and so making sure that you've got insect repellent can prevent against a lot of different infections.
That's so true. And honestly, it's going to save you a lot of money, because when you're going to go, get it at their little hotel store or what have you. It's like twice or triple the amount.
Having that ahead of time is really smart.
Absolutely. Great ideas, great tips. In fact, I printed everything out for my trip.
Good luck.
Lots of info.
To prepare.
All right, Natasha, thank you so much as always.